Red 945 is D Wayne in the AM in the studio with me today. I've got a treat. This guy's come back home after a long time away, but his name is known absolutely. I met him in what, 2013, 14?
Something along the lines of that.
Something like that, man. Kind of changed my life. Put me on a stage.
Yeah,
one of
man.
the biggest artists at the time.
Yeah, man.
Little did I know he was going to grow himself an empire.
Okay.
Entire empire.
What?
Over 900,000 YouTube subscribers. Don't ask about that Instagram.
Man.
Don't ask about that TikTok.
The TikTok going crazy.
Look,
TikTok doing backflips. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't look at them numbers. You're going to make yourself feel bad. I got to welcome my guy to the studio, Screwface John. What up, bro?
What's good? What's good? It feels great to be back home, especially with you, my boy. Screwface in the building. Let's get it.
Hey. It's been, a minute and a half, since we'd actually seen each other proper, man.
I think the last time was on when you came out at the Bourbon with me.
Yes.
And did the beat. You know what's crazy is I was looking through my email because I was getting my set together and stuff. Because I'm about to be doing some like songs from. I'm about to just do my sets, but about to just be like a celebration of like my career and stuff. So like I want to do songs from back then and stuff. And I was looking through my email. And I saw the version, and I know exactly what song it was. It was I Blew, my version of that.
Yeah.
That was my thing. You came out and did the beatbox before it?
Yes.
That's dope.
Yo.
I literally just saw that a couple of days ago.
And that was a Kid Ink show.
Yeah.
That was the Kid Ink show, man.
That was hot, yeah.
What year was that? I want to say like 2014.
I was gonna say 2014. It probably was like 2014. I want to say it was probably I was gonna say 2014, but I didn't want to sound. I was like, man, I feel like that might be too back. But like, nah, it's not.
It gets to sounding like we've been at it forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hole that I want to fill though, because I moved here in 2009.
Yeah.
So it was November of 2009.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know you released your first mixtape at 14.
Yeah.
14 years old.
I dropped my what was it? Man in the Myth. Well, no, my first one like in high school was it could have been before 14. We'll go with 14. 14, yeah, 14 is good.
Right,
14.
At least 14.
Yeah. And basically haven't stopped since. And it's crazy because those first couple, like, even though there was a lot of hard work and grind that we had to do to get a local buzz.
Yeah.
Once I started going more on the national level, that was a whole different, and it's almost like when you work at like hard at a school or something.
Yeah.
And then you go to another college, and then you find out your credits don't transfer. And it's like, oh, you got to start over again. That's what it felt like. I was just like, what? So it's crazy.
How did you reestablish yourself?
Basically, after I had started going on tour with like Fly America and Mark Battles and stuff like that. And once we started doing that, I started like leaving Nebraska more, and like sometimes I'd leave and I'd do shows, like when I was doing shows with I had a show with MGK and I think it was Kid Ink. Oh no, it was MGK and Tech Nine in Wisconsin, and I went on the Taylor Gang tour, but those are just like little tastes of those things. But when we started going on tour, like more of the national tours, and we were on those for months at a time. Like it feels like there was like a 3-year period of and Dodo could attest to this. It feels like there was a 3-year period of our lives where we're always off and on tour, just like constantly. So that's what built up my more out there. And then I started doing my own headline tours, and then I started hitting the YouTube heavy, and then that's what really started branching me out to more of a national level and even international now at this point too.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
How many? Like, I don't even want to get the number wrong. You probably got it. What is it? 930 some thousand. You almost at 1 million, right?
Let me not say the wrong thing. Yeah, I think I want to say 940, but I think it is probably 930.
Either way, that's
close. Yeah, very close.
that's 930,000 more people than I could possibly imagine on my YouTube. Tell me about that expansion of your brand, which is now turning into an empire. Tell me how you expanded into that YouTube thing.
Oh, do I need to put these on?
Oh, you can. Yeah, if you want to hear yourself.
The expansion of the. Oh, okay. Okay, I can hear myself now. All right, cool. Yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry.
No, tell me about how you expanded into the YouTube space and what that did for your brand and now your empire.
Really, it started with because I was always dropping my music on YouTube, but the problem was I was like pushing it wrong. I would always stick to trying to push it through locally, like try to get like, oh, I want to be the biggest person in Nebraska. I was thinking too small. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because that's still what I aspire to be. And I knew that if I get to be bigger outside, then it wouldn't even be a question. So instead of just going to pushing to my Facebook friends, hey, listen to this song, I started just pushing it more to the Twitters, the Facebook, the TikToks, the Instagrams. I started getting on that, and then I started doing reactions to videos because there was a period when I moved and I really didn't have much to do, so I just was like, man, let me just start giving my opinion on music, because that's what I do anyway. Yeah, and then I just started doing that, and then that took off, and then throughout it, I still was continuously dropping music on that, because that's like that page started with a song. Like if you go, I think my first upload is a freestyle to YB and the Mirrors, Glizzy Hella Geekin', I think that's the song.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's the first upload on that, and then I think I did a remix to Bad Baby's one of her songs. And then I started doing reactions, and then that's really what took it. But then I always was incorporating my music through it, and I never settled on just being like a reactor, right?
Yeah.
I was like always pushing my music through it, and the way I'd even brand my reactions is just a rapper giving his opinion on rap. So, because sometimes people want to get a more in-depth look at stuff from somebody who actually does the thing, other than someone who just listens to it, which there's nothing wrong with that either.
Right. It sounds like you're being really focused and purposeful about how you're positioning yourself in that space. Is it easy for people to get just drug into the reactor guy?
Yeah, it's very easy, because what happens is if you are able to do it well, people think it's easy. It's not. A lot of people try and it doesn't work for them. It takes a certain type of personality. You do have to be an entertainer still, but what happens is it takes so much work to get to a position of like even where I'm at and stuff, that it's easy for you to just cut off everything and then just focus on that. So I had to stay conscious of doing that. So I always would incorporate my music. I always have I would react to a song, then I'd do a freestyle to the beat, and then I would do like almost putting like my money where my mouth is or something like that. So I always try to do that and never lost sight of that, because I knew the second you lose sight of that, it's quick to, you could drop a few big reactions and get so much attention or something, or say the right thing or wrong thing and get so much attention that you forget everything else. So you gotta always stay cognizant to that. Plus, you get new subscribers every day, so it benefits me. That's what I'm looking for. So it benefits me to continuously keep pushing the face, because I'm not always pushing it to the same people. Like it's new people looking at it and stuff.
You have to almost tell people that you rap 100% of the time,
that
they catch it, so that 40% of the time that they're actually listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though that you're not, trying to be the reactor guy, it seems that the reactions have really allowed you to express yourself in kind of a completely different way. How did finding your voice, tell me about solidifying that? Because I've watched a few of your videos at the beginning and I watched a few that were a little more recent, and your confidence feels almost supreme. Right? Like you don't boast, you're just like, yo, here's how I feel. Tell me about your confidence getting to that level.
Well, just to clear, I actually don't even have a problem with people being like, hey, you're the reactor guy. Like, I've never had a problem with any of that, because especially in 2023, as an entertainer, you just got to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just focus on one thing almost, because the people who just focus on one thing are only attacking one base of people. There's so much other people. So I never have a problem with people being like, oh, I know you from reactions, or oh, I know you from music. As long as you know me, it's my job to continuously push what I want you to see. So
once you're in the family, you're in the family.
Exactly. So
okay,
I don't care
sense.
how, but finding the voice is that just takes a lot of repetition.
Okay.
Because you can go back to my early reactions or videos, and you can see a big difference. And though there's always like core values that stay the same,
absolutely,
but there is a more. See, the thing I had that was good was that I was comfortable in front of a camera already. So even on my first ones, because through my music videos,
you've been acting.
I
was gonna say you've been acting since day one.
Yeah, so it's just me being me. So it's just like I'm comfortable on it. But there becomes what now I understand is more through what I've learned through like the events I've been through on YouTube, like the viral moments I've had, the beefs and the dramas and the goods and the bads. Those is really what has molded me more as the person I am than learning anything technical.
Wow.
It's more like that is built. It's less naivete. Like I'm less naive now than I was earlier, because I know this game in and out. I know how the internet works in and out, to a point where it's almost like I would look at it as somebody who plays football, how they watch football. The way I see music or the internet is like probably the way when someone plays football, like professionally, does it. So it's like it's so much layers to it that yeah.
You're seeing the plays.
Oh yeah,
you're
before
seeing when people put the snap in motion. You're watching how long it takes for the ball to move.
He gonna go left. He gonna go right. He gonna pitch it to him. Like I already know how it's gonna happen, and then. Yeah, people fall for it a lot of time. But
unveil a little bit of this, internet mystery beef. I noticed that when you have beef online, you address that straight up.
Yeah.
But then somehow you come to peace with some of these people.
Oh yeah.
Talk about what online beef really is and how to resolve it for those people that have never experienced it or might just be trolls.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I think a lot of time when people say, oh, they got beef with somebody online or they got issues, it don't really be real. I think what I do, I'm in a unique position because I do have so many eyes on me. So the thing is, a lot of the stuff and it comes with learning this, you learn is strategic. People move very, very strategically, and it is a strategic game, because if you get caught up in the fact that this person said this about me or this happens, then you forget that this is, just to unveil the curtain, these are two brands going at each other. And that's what you always have to remember. Like when there's something, most of the time I'll get a problem is because I didn't like something on a song, and then the artist will come back and say something, and then it's a back and forth. And
right.
That's basically how it usually happens. So it's never really, there's only been, for everything that I've ever been into, though I take everything seriously, nothing has ever been that serious.
That serious.
Yeah, like nothing has ever, there's been times where I've had to see if it was that serious, and it wasn't. So I always remember, and like you said, like when you see me now, how it's more of a confidence.
Absolutely.
Is because I understand. Before I was looking at it more like a fan, where it was just like, I believe what they say. So I take them at exactly what they say. But now I realize, like, this is two brands. People got teams. Like, you got to understand, when you start getting up to the 900,000 subscribers, and I'm not just saying, I really don't have anybody. It is just me. But you got to understand what these other people, they got editors, people that do their thumbnails. They got whole writers, people who write their stuff. They got teams behind them.
The automation is in effect.
Exactly. So it's like, this is all strategic. Before they say something about somebody, they're having meetings and stuff like that. So you can never look at it like that. That's why I always tell people, like, as a fan, when you see two of these people going at each other, remember, this is more like Coke versus Pepsi than it is two guys on the street actually about to do something. That's what it's more like.
And that makes beef funny.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Now, seeing rappers that get national attention, when you see them beef, like, a Drake and Meek Mill situation, as a performer, you're already saying to yourself, both of them are making bags then.
Oh, yeah. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm somebody, and one of the things that people like about me is I am so in tune with the battle rap world, like with the smack, the URLs and stuff like that. So I always look at that stuff, like two artists going back and forth on music, as healthy for hip hop, because as long as it stays on that, that's literally how hip hop was created, was to mitigate some of these real beefs into breakdance battles or to rap battles, and then you get a lot of stuff off, and then it just goes away. You let to get a lot of stuff off your chest. So that kind of stuff, they're getting bags, of course. Yeah. Like, even though I feel like someone like Meek probably did lose more from that, there's still he's still here. You know, like, that's what people always, somebody told me, somebody on YouTube, it was one of the people I was cool with on YouTube, they said beefs never, even when they say someone like ended their career, it's never the beef that ended their career. It's never the song. If you ever see someone do a song with someone, you never see that person again. It wasn't the song. There was something, the people just stopped, the label stopped putting money on their songs. They stopped doing it. It's more than that. So, especially because we're in such an independent space, you don't really see that. Now, I have seen people get like videos made about them or stuff like that and just get eviscerated. But even then, the internet is so secular that it just like circular. It moves so that in 3 to, if it's really juicy, 5, then 3 to 5 days, you're out of it's something new.
Wow.
If it's really something crazy, it'll be 5 days.
3 to 5 days.
But usually it's 3 days, then they're on to the next one.
And you just let it roll.
Yeah, then you could do something else. It happens all the time.
Talk about your music career, where you're at with it, what's coming next. I know you've been dropping the freestyles, but where are you at with another album?
Well, right now, I gotta say, I'm in Lincoln because we got the October 13th show at the Bourbon. That's going to be crazy.
Hit that.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Really, like I said, with my idea for the October 13th show is to have it be like a celebration and like a timeline of my music and my journey in music. It's like, I went and saw Drake when he came, because I live out in the West now. Yeah. When he came out my way, I went and saw his tour, and the show was so good to me because he did not just like, oh, this is the album I'm pushing right now, here's the song I'm pushing, I'm doing these songs, I'm walking off. He did like a plethora of songs, so I got like because I'm a Drake fan, I've been a Drake fan since Degrassi. So like I got my money's worth, and it made me be like, that's how I want my show to be. So like musically, that's kind of how I'm looking at stuff too. I'm not really looking at albums as much as just dropping timeless music,
experiences.
Like, from now I just want to do, and I feel like we don't live as much in an album time anymore, but I will eventually drop an album, but I want there to be such a demand for it, like such a demand. I want to build a demand by dropping songs consistently, that there's such a demand that I drop the album. I don't want to just do the same thing because that's the way that we were taught. There's like new rules now, you got to use them. So
absolutely.
I think a lot of people, and this happens to me too, we do things just because that's how we've seen it done before. So you get into this, the weirdest thing to me, because one day I had to stop and be like, why is it that us as independent, all I know is independent artists. I know a lot of successful independent artists. I know a lot of them. I talk to, and I have relationships with record labels too. I'm not signed, but I have through reactions and stuff like that. And the thing that I've never understood is why, as independents, we follow the signed rapper schedule.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense because the way that they drop albums, we try to do the same things. Like, but they do that because they need budgets and stuff like that. Yeah, like we can do anything when we want. We need to start using our flexibility. We only do that because we've seen that that's the way it's done before, but it doesn't make sense. Like we could drop whenever we want. Let's really drop whenever we want. And I think that is the new way of doing stuff because, like I said, a lot of the most successful independent artists I know drop like every week, every other week. The most and these people are very successful.
It's on their schedule.
Yes, whenever they want to drop, basically. So it's like there's no point. And some of them have never dropped an album.
Okay.
Might have dropped one. And I realized the what it takes to put out an album, the energy it takes to make a bunch of songs, and people's attention span is going to be the same attention span regardless if you give them a single or you give them a project. They're going to be on that project for a few days and then they're going to be gone. So you basically just like burnt 20 songs when you could have just dropped those week to week, over time, and I guarantee you those songs would have stuck with the people longer. And if you want to call that the project, then that project would have stuck with people longer.
Yeah, so. It's you almost make it episodal
in
a way.
Yep.
Right.
People like to binge now. We're in a real bingey time, so you got to put out a bunch of stuff. But if you just put out one body of work, they're gonna and then they're gonna be done. It's gonna be in and out. You just burnt like a bunch of songs. That's how I look at it too. So
I love the look, and you're talking about the your inspiration that you get from Drake shows, pulling some of that into your show on the 13th.
Yeah.
Talk about how it feels to be back home. And to be able to do something like that because you do have your back catalog is crazy.
Yeah, it feels dope to be home. As soon as I got off the plane, I went to get the rental car, and then I went to this gas station. And as soon as I got out, somebody was like, and I was in Omaha, somebody was like, Scru?
Yo.
And I was just like, oh, yo, that's and they're like, yo, October 13th. And I was like, okay, because, I haven't been here to see what the promotion's been like. I've just been from afar doing what I had to do to push it and stuff like that. So I haven't known what it is, but just seeing that made me very excited. And that's another reason why I wanted to do it, a show that has like all my music from when I was from the beginning of my career to now.
Yeah.
Because I do have fans that have been with me, especially in Nebraska, for so long that there is a lot that they could get from that. I want them to feel like I felt when I went to the Drake show, and I got a bunch from that too. And when I was going through like even my set list and what I wanted to do, I did realize, this is gonna sound super conceited, and I don't mean it to.
No, hit it.
But if it does, I don't care.
Right.
But I realized there's a lot of songs that I have that created or represent moments in this city.
Amen.
Like songs that people remember, like from that. Oh, I remember where I was when this dropped. I remember where I was when City Life dropped, when Actor Timmy dropped, when Nadamakan Screw dropped, when Burn Slow dropped. When it made me think, instead of just coming and let me just do a show with all my new stuff and push my new stuff, and it made me be like, nah, I want to actually go back and do. And I mean, these are songs that I had to listen to continuously so I could remember everything I said in it. So I was just like, okay, yeah, it's a feeling. So yeah, there's a lot of moments, I think, of songs that represent moments in the city, and I think that this set will reflect that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I find nothing conceited about that,
Yeah.
because you're a community member.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First and foremost, right? You were you were in this community, you were deep off in it.
Yeah.
And you still support it. So,
definitely.
To say that your music has been connected to moments is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And you hope that other artists can say that too.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
Absolutely.
Everyone should have their moments, so you can say,
Yeah.
man, remember when I dropped this album? They're like, yo, remember when I dropped that? It was like within 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
We was thinking about the same thing.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Someone dropped something talking about mental health, and 2 weeks later someone else dropped it.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, you too?
Yeah.
Like, yo, we both experienced that? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And now we almost have this stuff that we can look back on.
Yeah. The music is a time capsule. So it's just like, that's what I also want to urge people to do too, is to keep making timeless music, no matter what is going on now. You know, always, you know, find a way to add, you know, evolve yourself and involve yourself. That's another thing too, because people will stop involving themselves in the music and then you could hear it in their music. Like, evolve and involve yourself, but always try to make a song that instead of encapsulates what's going on right now, even though that is an element to making a song that's going to last forever, encapsulate a feeling instead of like a thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
a feeling is going to go further. So I even got people who, there's songs that even if they didn't like the song, they remember where they were when they was like, man, I couldn't go to a house party and not hear this
And not
song.
hear
So that's what I encourage people to do too. Make time maps and time capsules with your music and stuff. Or with anything you do, honestly.
Yeah.
Don't gotta just be music.
Have you found yourself sliding into kind of a mentor role for a lot of these younger artists that are coming up?
Yes, in a way, like
Even from afar.
yeah, like I'm especially more on the YouTube side of stuff.
Okay.
Because even though I haven't been doing YouTube for like 10 years, I think I've been doing it for like five and some change years.
Okay.
But I feel like a young OG on YouTube. So there's a lot of people who come up under me and will ask for advice, will ask how they get here, how I did this, or how I handled certain things. But I'm still, the beauty of YouTube or being on the internet is that even though you have people that will always come up under you, there's always people ahead of you too. So I still have plenty mentors. I still have people I reach out to. Like there's people like Anthony Fantano who I talk to often. Like
wow.
I especially prior, like I used to talk to him a lot, and we have like interviews together and stuff like that too. Man. And there's been times where I've reached out to him and be like, bruh, how did you handle that? Because he's gone through a lot of different scandals and different stuff like that. I wouldn't say scandals, but different like
situations.
Yeah, situations. And I've just had to and he's giving me great advice on stuff like that too. So I always also encourage people to continue to be a student. Always don't get comfortable in what you do, and always look for who can you reach out to that's ahead of where you are, because there's always somebody there and you'll be surprised how many of them will just give you free advice, will just talk to you. So that's what's also what I love about doing YouTube, because there's so many people that I meet that through it, it's crazy, and the people that I realize are listening to the music or watching the videos is crazy. I've been posted by some of the biggest artists in the world, literally, and I'm just like, I can't believe that this person's watching. So it's just dope.
Man, and being at this point now, it sounds like it feels good.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of people that are looking to make that jump. They might live wherever they live, and they're saying, I want to go and make my life happen. Mm-hmm. There's a period when you make that jump where your stomach drops, before you find the ground under your feet.
Yeah.
Talk about making it through that piece right there, because you move out and it's not just gravy instantly.
Oh no, it was horrible. It was absolutely. The crazy part is right before, I tell the story sometimes, right before my first like decent YouTube check hit, my bank account was in the negative. And like literally in the negative. I had gotten a notification like, yo, this is in the red or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting out, I was in Lincoln. I remember sitting at this gas station, just sitting in my car parked, just with my hands on my face, like I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then not only did my first YouTube check come, but then that's when my first YouTube drama kind of happened. But that's kind of what really popped me off and got me big.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that happened for me. So after that, I was out of here. Wow. But that moment, that leap of faith that you got to take it's not even just one moment. It's literally a lifetime before you get to where you want to go. Because when I decided that I wanted to be Scru Jean, I wanted to be an entertainer, like before I could speak English. So everybody who's ever known me has known this is what I've always said that I would do. So I dedicated my entire life. And when I tell people like, you gotta really love this to do this, I tell people like, before anything happened for me, I was at my worst, like having my girl pay the rent, not being able to do anything, sleeping on couches, just because I committed that this was my number one thing I was gonna do. And it's not easy to start generating money or an income from doing this. So I was at my worst position. I owed money. It was bad. But then, like they say, it gets darkest before it gets lightest. So it takes somebody, I think, who's not all the way there to fully do this, because there's going to become a point where it doesn't make sense to continue. And a sane person, like most people, are going to go, let me just do something that's more guaranteed. But the people who go take that extra step right there, where most people go, like you said, the ledge, where most people go, there's a ledge right there, let me turn around. But the people go, no, I think I can make it. The people who do that are usually the people who then make it, but it gets so bad before you make it. But when you make it, it makes it that much sweeter, because you know how hard you worked to get to where you are. But like I said in the beginning, being an entrepreneur, being my own boss, or when people look at my net worth or see that stuff, that's not easy. Like it's genuinely easier to just have like a 9-to-5 or do stuff like that. And there's nothing, I always tell people there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's, trust me, what I do is harder. Like I can't take off Scru Face John. I can't come home and be like, clock out. If I get a message from a label, or I get a message from YouTube, or I get a message from somebody who wants to get something at midnight, and I'm about to lay down, I have to then fulfill that then, or there's no money transactions happening. So that's, in order for me to make $1, I have to constantly be working. So, and there's a lot of investments you make that don't pan out right. So it's like, it's not easy. It is, but it's worth it if you really love it. And that's why I also like when people go, that person doesn't deserve to, like, I don't like that person's music, why are they famous, and I'm like, you don't understand what they did or what they had to do to get here. No matter how much you like them or not, that's your prerogative. You could have your opinion. Please have your opinion. Please. But there's a reason why you're hearing, you even have this opinion of this person you've never met and don't know, but all you know is their music. There's a reason why there's people in your city you've never heard of, and you've never heard their music, but this person in Alabama that you say is so whack, you're having a whole internet back and forth with somebody else. So it's just like, it's you got to think like that. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Talk about your stance on hip hop in the city of Lincoln. Right, you're from here. Obviously, you've moved away, but you're still really connected. You're back here for the homecoming show. Tell me about how you feel about the culture here.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, because I feel like when I lived here, right, I feel like there was an energy, especially in the local music scene, that I feel like has kind of dissipated or fell back a little bit. I don't know what, well, I'm not even gonna say a little bit, a lot. I feel like it's not, and I know this from talking to people who own venues, and it's not just like an opinion. Like this is something that like I've done a lot of research on, and from the numbers and the stuff that we were doing here compared to what happened, I feel like something has changed a little bit. And I wish that, and I'm even back when we were here and everybody was doing the music, not everybody got along. Like, especially I had a lot of people who didn't get along with me, but it created an energy that at least I feel like there was more talking about it. But like when you talk to the people, there's not a lot of people, because I'll be like, so, and I think a lot goes into that, because a lot of now most people just go to the pinnacle. You know, when before most people go into the bourbon and stuff like that, and then there'd be local openers, and then there'd be different stuff like that. So I feel like that contributes to it too, but I feel like there's also a lack of that energy that there used to be. And that's what I feel like I want to bring back with this show and stuff like that. Like, of course, I don't live here, and I can't be here a lot. So I don't want that energy to ever dissipate, because I remember when we were bringing people to the city and the MGKs and the Kid Inks and the stuff like that. And then I asked, like, yo, so, you know, who's doing that now? Who's doing that there? And it's just like, there's companies now. It's not like...
It's not individuals.
Yeah, it's not like local people, really. So it's like, yeah, that probably contributes to that, too. So,
man. Do you think there's a lack in the knowledge of how to throw a show?
Yes. But I also... When someone says they don't know how to do something in 2023, that means they don't want to know how to do it, because... Just the same way that we learned how to do shows, they can learn how to do shows. In fact, they have the better tools. In fact, you could literally just Google exactly what they said, and it would show you step by step how to do it. Go to YouTube, type in how to do a local show, do it. It's not impossible, but I do think there is a lack of that. And I also feel like maybe in general, there feels like, because you hear all the stuff that people are saying about how hip hop is just in general kind of taking a hit in popularity and stuff like that. I saw a video where Juicy J came out and said 40% of hip hop sales are down. And I could believe that. Now, I haven't done any research on that, and you definitely cannot believe everything you hear on the internet, going back to how I know this by the back of my hand. So you can't just go off a thing, but I could believe that. And I also think it's a lot of hip hop's fault for kind of what's been, nobody feels like the music that's been put out, not to sound like one of those people, but like there's a lot of stuff that I think has hurt the energy, because I feel like for a whole generation now there's been this thing where you could either be good or you could either be so bad you're good. And it's like the era of ironic rap. And it's just like, that's where you get like a lot of what's been going on. And I think that there's been a generation of people that are now grown that have only known that. So they look at rap in general just like a meme, where they're just like, they don't really, there's not the same connection or passion that there was before. And I hate... And it's crazy that I'm saying this, because I always hate it when people talk like this, when like older people, say I hate this. So I don't want to sound like that, but I'm definitely in hip hop. I support a lot what's going on. I love what's going on. I argue to death for a lot of artists that people would say aren't good or killing hip hop. I argue to death for them, but I genuinely think that there's an era who are now older who almost don't know how to have a passion for hip hop, because it's kind of been a meme their whole life. So like,
that's heavy. That's a bar right there.
But yeah, I mean, I've been watching it for a long. I've been, like I said, I've been in the hip hop culture before I could speak English. So like, it's like the era of ironic rap, and it started like in the 2010s. That's kind of where it started, like with like the Lil B's and the stuff like that. Now, shout out to Bass God, brang dang dang. But I'm just saying that's kind of where it was. Lil B was so bad he was good, and it was like the era of like the Tumblr posts and the super ironic. We just live in a super ironic time. Like just like I think the generation growing up, is it Gen X or Gen Z? Gen Z are just super ironic, because that's just the humor that's been pushed their whole lives. That's the type of music that's been pushed their whole life. That's the type of movies that have been pushed their life. It's just like a real ironic, satire-y time. So it's just like, and yeah, I think also things like YouTube do play in a part like that, because there's been things where people grew up listening to people who all they did was make parody music.
Raps.
So it's like,
if there are even just 3 artists that are here that you see kind of making the right moves, going the right direction, who would they be? Who do people kind of need to keep their eyes on, in your opinion?
I would say she not from Lincoln. She from Omaha, I think. But Tylen.
Oh, man.
Tylen, to me, is the number one person that when I look at, I see like how I used to be in the locally, how I used to feel, like how I was going out, not just, she goes out and does her thing. She travels, but she also does stuff locally, and she is super committed. That's why she's my number one. And then I would say somebody who is actually on the show, and really just because of how they grinded with how they apply themselves in this show.
Yeah.
And even like they started doing like YouTube stuff like Timmy Curtis. Like,
yeah, man.
He's somebody that I think too also has the energy to do it. That's another thing. Like
for sure
the
energy
endurance to do it.
Yep.
Like if he focuses and mounds down on it and tries to get more out of there, I think just because of how the things I've seen him do, I go like, okay, he's got something, but that can come or go if you don't grow it. It's a seed, but you got to water it. And then the third person in the city, that's where I kind of be like, I don't know. And I don't want to make anybody upset either, because there's a lot. Yeah, I don't know anybody who's really going from this city right now who is doing it like they are. Like the people that, like Tylen, number one, and then Timmy, his grind. And then there's people like KT too. I think like he's somebody who's gotten out the city and he's done stuff. And I think if there's something that he could tap into that would make him super virally successful, there's just, it's just like, if that's a different conversation, but I think like people like him. But that's where I say too, like I literally, because I'm not in the city anymore, so like my focus be with my my YouTube peers and stuff like that, my YouTube people. And not that I don't focus, but I'll literally ask like, yo, so who in the city is da-da-da-da, and people will really just give me the same answers, like kind of the people I just said, or just like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I feel that.
And that's not a diss or nothing like that. It's just I'm not seeing that on a radar that's hitting me outside of the city, because it kind of has to get outside of the city for me to see it. Yeah. And that's going to sound, I know people are going to take that the wrong way, but
you know, whatever. But people know what you mean.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
your focus is in a different place.
Yeah. I'm not, you can't be upset when somebody who doesn't live here, and like Facebook isn't my main social media. I don't be on Facebook. I be on TikTok, Instagram and stuff, but Facebook is where like my Nebraska and my past lay. So sometimes when I tap in and I'll see it. So if I don't see anything, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And a bit of that is almost as an artist letting that ego go.
Yeah.
Right? You can't think that everybody know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, there are moments where I love when I'm talking to somebody, I introduce myself to someone, they'll be like, I know who you are. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Still going to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Introduce myself to someone else, and they're like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And you're like, great. That's why we got to keep the egos.
Exactly. Even when I get like recognized to this day, if someone goes, like even yesterday, he goes, you look familiar. I go like, do I? Right. I never go, I'm Screwface. Like I never like do nothing like that.
Like you Batman.
Yeah. I don't want to assume anything. So I just let them figure out who I am. Or if they're like, can't, I'll be like, do you watch YouTube? And then they usually get it like that. Right, so
you got to be gracious with it.
Yeah.
Man, let's talk about the October 13th show. You know, you talked about one of your openers, Timmy Curtis Beard, you know, incredibly supportive guy, by the way.
Yeah.
He's always really been cool and supportive. So it's cool that you have
I've
him on
been
the show.
with him for some years.
Yeah,
right.
And your boy KT on the show too. I saw
Yeah.
Cutmaster Scott's gonna hop in there.
Yeah, I think.
And that's the beatbox. Have you heard him?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Does he go with roll KT? Because I just be letting they do whatever. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So he'll be rolling on that
okay,
show. Yeah, that'll be dope. I think they're performing a single.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Shout out
I'm
to
excited.
him.
Yeah, for real, man.
I be wanting to be a fan too. I watch everybody's sets too. So like, I don't really want it. I don't be like, if you do a show with me, I don't be like, send me your set, tell me what you're doing. It's more like a loose environment too. And since I don't have like a manager or team or nothing like that, like booking shows be funny sometimes with me, because like even venues and stuff will be like, yeah, what do you want for your rider, or what do you want for this? I'll just be like,
give me a bottle of water.
I don't know. I guess if I'm hungry, I just ask for something when I'm there. I don't. But it's just like, and it's like, what are the set times? I'll be like, well, this is when the show ends. This is when the show starts. This is when the show ends. I don't know why else.
Boom.
What else? Because I like to play it by ear sometimes, like how many people are coming in, or I don't want anybody to perform to just nobody just because that's the time we had set, but people start coming in a little late because like they always do. So
that's the real love for the independent artist right there.
Yeah, because I know what that's like. Yes. I know what that like that. That's another thing. Like if you do a show with me, you'll know, because there was such a long period of my life. Basically in Nebraska, I was an opener. I was just a big opener. I would open up for big people, but at the end of the day, I was still open. Yeah, so it's like I know all the pet peeves. I know all the bad stuff that happens to openers. I don't ever put openers through anything. I'd be real with openers. I'd be so real. It'd be crazy, because I'll be like, yo, son. Like when people be like, I don't know who's going to get mad at this, but whatever, I'm here. I'll be like, okay, so when people go to, just to give openers some advice.
Yes.
If you go to a sound check, right, and the headlining artist is there, right?
Yeah.
And you start doing your sound check, right? And you're like, yo, check, and you start doing things. I promise you, they're not saving your levels. I promise you. There is no reason, like, whatever you say or is like, okay, that sounds good, and you get off, they're just going to set it to whatever the headliner is.
wants.
If you're sharing the mic, or if you're not, they're going to just what sounds good at the time.
Yeah.
Like it's never there's, and then when you do open and when you do a sound check, don't do 7 songs. Like this isn't the time to just show your songs to everybody. The sound check is really more for the headliner, and I had to learn that the hard way. There'd be times where, and early too, there'd be times when, like when I was opening up for Jeezy at the Pershing, there's times when we came early for sound check, and when we were the only other performer,
right?
But the sound check was not for me, like at all. And I'm not saying like I'm at a Jeezy level. This goes for everybody. This goes for the people that I've opened up for that are way smaller than him and stuff like that. The sound check is not for the openers. It's for the touring act. Because they need to get the levels. Then whatever the house mic is just gonna be what the house mic is.
Man.
But a lot of openers like to come and start. This is my go to my 4th song. All right, right. All right, go to my 5th. It's like, stop it.
Stop. You don't need to do the whole show right now.
Yeah, but the opener will. That's another thing too. Like the opener will like go through damn near their whole. It's almost like another rehearsal before the thing. So like, I'm cool though. Like I'll even like cut my sound checks, so I'll just make sure a few songs are right and be like, okay, cool. When I should be running through
the whole thing,
what it's going to sound like when I do these things, because that's another thing I've learned too, where it's like I'll sound check 3 songs and then not realizing that some of the levels of the songs are different, so then I'll get to another song and then end up having to be like, oh yo, you gotta turn me up here anyway during the show. So it's like you gotta just be like, hey, at this point turn it up here. It's real like that. I've learned a lot of that stuff. But yeah, that's a hilarious thing that I let them go. I let them get their songs off. I'll be like, hey, if you want to do, as long as when sound check is over, we're all out of here. It's whatever. But
because you realize that some of these people don't get to sit on stages. They don't get to sit on stages, so
they want to just rap their song on stage, which is cool. Get your shit on. Just don't do it with the people there.
Yeah. Not with everybody there.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve is some people will still want to do sound checks while the people start coming. It's like, no, it's over. It's done.
Let it be.
You got to go now. Like,
so we got October 13th
Oh yeah, October 13th at the Bourbon. I just went off on a tangent.
No,
probably.
you good. You good, bro.
October 13th at the Bourbon Theater. It's going down. The doors are at 8. The show's at 9. I think we got we'll be out of there by midnight.
Okay.
We keep it nice.
Yo, that's a tight show.
Yeah, a nice tight show. We like to keep it going and stuff, keep the energy so people don't start going outside and smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. Yeah, this is really going to be, because I haven't been here I think this has been like one of the longest I've went without doing a show.
Yeah.
So this is really just going to be a celebration of my entire career and like all these things that I've accomplished since then. Like there's a lot of people that I've gained so much more fans now than when I was obviously locally.
Yeah.
That sometimes when they find stuff out, like my new fans will find stuff out here, it makes me realize like, dang, all the stuff that I've accomplished in the city. So it's like I just want to celebrate that. Like there's people who still now they'll find out like, wait, you did a show with Kendrick Lamar? And this will be like people in newly will find me and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you what? And they'll freak out and stuff. But then I'm realized like, dang, yeah, we really did do that. Like it's like for the first time I finally slowed down and was like, let me see what's going on. Because when you just keep your head down and you're just running, you don't get to see what's going on. But this like for the first time I felt like I'm seeing my impact because enough time has passed that I could see what my impact is in at least the city.
Man, it's gonna be a celebration.
Oh yeah, it's a celebration.
Man, you know we're gonna be out there. The vehicle's gonna be out there.
Oh yeah, pull up.
Yeah, man.
And we're gonna have the NEB or DIE shirts. We're gonna have them there. We're gonna have the From the Village apparel shirts. The merch table gonna be looking crazy. Yeah, pull up, because those NEB or DIE shirts for surely are gonna go very fast. I already have a lot of what's it called? Pre-orders for them. So yeah.
Man, Screwface John, pleasure having you, brother. Great to catch up.
Great to be back, man.
Connect,
Hey, man. I love
it's been way too
man.
long, bro.
Way
I love
too
seeing
long,
you too.
I remember when I met you, man. I remember literally when it was like, because I can't remember who introduced us, but it was like, yo, this kid does a beatbox. And it's like we could put him in the show or something like that. And this is because I met you like a little before that first show.
Yes.
And we literally were just meeting with each other, and then I was hearing your beatbox. I was like, whoa, you could do like 3 instruments. And you know what's crazy about, I didn't know there's this like league of beatboxers in like I think it's in Europe. What's it? Oh my gosh, my fans are gonna get mad at me because I used to do these reactions to them.
And Grand Beatbox Battle?
Yes, they're beatbox battles. And I was just like, I in some of my reactions, I was like, man, I got this boy back home. He needs to do this because he could cook some of these people. These things get millions and millions of views. A bunch of people, like they have like arenas for it. I was just like, bro, they need to get Dwayne out here. He be cooking these dudes, man.
I thought about hopping back into it, man. I could get down. You know what I'm saying? The muscles don't go away. You know what I mean?
Man, let me see, because I got a few, not like connections, but like I always can reach out and find something. But like I literally said that in my reaction. I was like, bro, they need to put Dwayne on because this is. Now, don't get me twisted. I saw some people in there that were doing some
crazy stuff.
I didn't even know that it was. That's what I was saying. I was like, man, I did not know that this was like a thing like that.
Yeah,
but it was like that's
it's a
what
whole
I figured
community.
Out.
Man.
Yeah,
it's a whole community.
Huge community though.
Yes.
Like, and they're like diehards.
Yeah.
Like they're coming from different countries and stuff like that to fly to this event, and it's so like, I'm talking about like a Beyonce show amount of people just like.
Just to check out the beatboxing, man. It's crazy.
And how like the crowd goes crazy when they get to beatbox. I'm just like, yo, I low-key need to go to one of these and just to watch it.
Yo, you got to, man. The energy is crazy. The bass is turned up. And it gets wild. Yeah, it gets absolutely wild. Yeah. Bro, thanks for coming in today.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
This is like a pleasure.
Yeah,
it's
man.
It's a real pleasure to catch up.
I feel famous doing this.
Dang,
so, yeah.
You is, man.